like a backdrop. So it's like a room divider, as sort of a makeshift office. Because when my kids were home, we had to all move to different offices. So
It looked like a little bit of like a brick wall, and it looked like you had a coat on. So I thought, why is she sitting outside?
No. I wish it was a nice spring day and I could be outside, but no.
I hear you.
Joel says we're good to go, Barb.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we're good to go. I'd like to welcome it as the I guess the as the staff liaison for this committee. I've been asked to begin this meeting today, with it being the first meeting of a given year of 2021. The first order of business is to elect a chair and a vice chair for the committee going forward through 2021. So I'm going to begin the process so that I can turn the proceedings back over to the chosen chair. So what I will do is I will call for nominations from the group here today for chair of the Kawartha Lakes Accessibility Advisory Committee. Would anyone like to make a nomination? Sharon? You're on mute, Sharon.
Can I nominate Crystal once again for our chair for this coming year?
Okay.
I'll second that.
And can I, okay, and can I call for nominations one more time? I have to call for the nominations 3 times to make sure that everybody's included here. Anyone else wishing to make a nomination? The 3rd time, anyone at all wishing to make a nomination? Crystal, would you be willing to accept the duty of chairperson of the Kawartha Lakes AAC?
I would, yes.
You would, good. And is anyone, well, all in favor basically for this nomination?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So congratulations, Crystal. Now we're to call for vice chair person of the committee. Can I call for a nomination for vice chair, please? Would anybody like to nominate someone for vice chair?
I'll nominate Sharon.
You'll nominate Sharon? Okay.
Yeah.
Are there any other nominations wishing to come forward? Anyone wishing to make a nomination? And the 3rd time, is there anyone else wishing to make a nomination for vice chair? Sharon, would you be willing to accept vice chair of the committee for the 2021?
Sure.
Sure? Okay. Well, it looks like my duties are fulfilled for this meeting, and I can turn, and I'd like to congratulate both Crystal Morrissey. Oh, I have to say all in favor for vice chair, don't I? Okay, all in favor? Okay, we're good. So congratulations, Crystal. Congratulations, Sharon. And thank you. I'm going to turn the meeting very quickly over to Crystal to continue.
Okay, thank you, Barb.
Thanks, Crystal.
And thanks, everyone. Happy New Year. We'll move along in the agenda. And first, we've got the adoption of the agenda. So the agenda was sent out. Does anybody have anything that they would like to add to today's agenda? Okay, seeing nothing, we'll do a motion to accept the agenda as is. Sharon?
I'll make that motion.
Oh, okay. So Norm, seconded by Sharon. Okay, thank you. Any declarations of pecuniary interest?
No.
Nope. And then we have the adoption of the minutes from our last meeting, which was in November. Did anyone see any errors or omissions in last time's minutes? And if not, we'll have a motion to accept the minutes. Made by Councillor Elmsley, a seconder by Sharon. Thank you. All in favor? Excellent. Okay, moving right along. Correspondence. I don't think we had anything there, Barb. So we'll go right on to 5.1, which would be Barb's update.
If I may, Crystal, I'd like to pass my update over, like meaning pass, if we could reorganize the agenda. I know that Councillor Elmsley has to leave early. He has another meeting. And so would you like to go ahead, Councillor Elmsley, and do your update first, if you have anything at all to update the committee on?
I really don't have anything with the lockdown and the stay at home. There isn't a whole lot going on, and the council business seems to be mostly about budgets, and we're moving forward with that. We've passed the capital budget, and I'm sure people have seen that the work is ongoing in downtown Lindsay, and hopefully will be finished this year. There is a similar project to work in Fenelon Falls, and that'll be starting in the fall of this year. Other than that, I think that it's just business as usual, but business as usual at a much slower pace, as many of our departments are working at part staff and working from home and not going into the office as often as they normally do. So unless anybody has any questions for me particularly, I really have nothing to add for this meeting.
Did anybody have any questions? Doesn't look like it. Okay, thank you for that update. If there was no questions for you, I think we can go back then to Barb for 5.1. And if you need to leave at any time, you can just give us a little wave and leave when you need to. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Crystal. I've got a few things that I'd like to mention as part of my piece here today. First of all, I'd like to express sincerest sympathies to Elizabeth Peters and her family. Joyce Kelly, Elizabeth's mom, passed away on the weekend. And she herself conducted a virtual service in memory of her mom yesterday, and I attended. Basically, I'd just like to say a few words that I do remember Joyce as a hardworking and devoted community member. She was very good she was shake things up or move a mountain, make a difference for those that she represented. She actually was a counselor for Ward 4. Which are the rural areas of Blackstock and surrounding area for, I think it was one particular 3-year period. And then she moved on to be Durham School Board representative for the Scugog and area as well. For a number of years, she represented at the school board level. And she also, I remember her from Port Perry and Blackstock Fair, and the huge number of volunteer hours that her and her husband did put in for both of the fair boards. So I'm, just wanted to mention that she will be remembered by many, and rest in peace, Joyce. So I just wanted to say a few words about her before I got started on my report to everybody today. And I hope Elizabeth and her family are doing well. Sharon, you wanted to say something?
Sorry, my mute thing isn't working very well. Can I just suggest that maybe a card be sent to Elizabeth on behalf of the committee and its members?
Certainly.
I was going to offer that as well. I can do that and drop it off in her mailbox because we live quite close, and just do it on behalf of the committee.
Thanks so much, Crystal. That'd be wonderful.
Okay.
Let's see. So back to my report. On December 1st, the city received an AODA compliance notification from the province. And so of course I had to go through, I went through a checklist that they sent to me asking for various different things. Basically, do we have an accessibility committee in place? Do we have policies in place? Are they on the internet and available? And do we offer training, to our staff? Do we have accessible feedback processes and accessible employment policies, et cetera? So I had to answer a bunch of different questions that were quite specific. And I'm pleased to report that the deadline was the 16th of December. So I had 16 days to prepare this and get it back to them. And it wasn't difficult to do. So pleased to report that it wasn't too difficult to do. And we do have a lot of different things online, such as our procurement policy and how it speaks to accessible procurement as well. So everything I was able to link to everything on our website, and not everything, but a lot of things that they were asking about on our website, send those links back to them, and it made it quite easy to complete for me. Actually, it was a wonderful challenge to be put through, because it was a good process for me to go through and see that, yes, we do have those things in place, and happy to report that back to you. So it was a good exercise, and I will be providing council with that information when I report on the accessibility plan in March to them. We had 2 new applicants. Oh, sorry, Sharon, go ahead.
Just a question about that. Was there anything in the questionnaire that popped up that maybe we don't have?
There was one particular area that we could do better at. But we did have things in place, okay? And that is in our employment policies and procedures. But we do have a workplace accommodation policy. There are a number of different things, and we do provide a welcoming line when it comes to applying. There is a welcoming piece there, welcoming people with disabilities to apply for employment with the city of Kawartha Lakes. So I do believe that there were, we answered all the questions, as far as I'm concerned, quite well and without much of a stumble. However, I do see where we can be, actually on our accessibility plan, it talks about developing a policy and including, of inclusion when it comes to our people that we employ, okay, or that we wish to employ. So this we will see pursued during this coming year, we hope, okay, with the challenges of COVID things have become a little backed up with the accessibility plan and even with our own work plan as a committee. But, you know, I had no trouble answering the questions.
Oh, that's
Yeah. So I'd be glad to share those questions with the committee too. You know, if basically I can circulate back my report back. I can circulate it to everyone in the committee. It might be good information for you to see and see how we've linked to how I was able to quickly link to our website on different pieces that we have there. Be good information for everyone, and I'll share. That's no problem at all.
That'd be great.
The next thing that I have to report on is that we did have, we did advertise for new committee membership in October. We had 2 new applicants apply to sit on the committee. We only had 1 seat available, unfortunately, though. We went through an interview process, and the interview team consisted of Councillor Elmsley, Councillor Richardson, and our chairperson, Crystal Morrissey. And they were challenged with a difficult decision between the 2 individuals. This report is going forward to council on Thursday, I believe. And we will be bringing 1 new member onto the committee. Thursday, on the 19th of January, I participated in a virtual meeting as a member of the Community Improvement Program. I'm part of that review team of staff that when the applications come in on the CIP program, like that is offered through economic development, business people can apply for funding to enhance their facades, signage, and accessibility is also a component of that. Council moved forward to providing a grant piece associated with accessibility. I believe that was last year that they officially okayed that. And I'm pleased to report that a number of business owners did apply for the accessibility component in the 6 applications that came forward this particular time, this intake. And we're seeing where they're asking for funding for the ramps, for the accessible door openers, widened doorways, and accessible washrooms. Those were what we did see on some of the applications coming forward. So it's wonderful. Like, I was really pleased to see where they were asking for funding to improve access to their premises. So I just wanted to say what a good program it is and how it's really helping to make our community more accessible. A disappointment this past week was our accessibility boot camp sessions. They were arranged for January 22nd and 29th, and it was, you know, some of you were going to be participating, and a number of our staff people that are responsible for buildings and such had to be delayed or it had to be canceled. The unfortunate part is that Thea Curdy of Designable Environments had to be called away on a family emergency. So I'm very concerned for Thea. She's very dedicated to her work. I'm very concerned for her family member. And you know, my prayers and thoughts are with her at this point. I haven't heard from her, and I don't know what the problem is, meaning what the family emergency is, but I'm really thinking about her. And other than that, in your agenda today, the 2020 work plan activities report, it was made available to you, and the 2021 work plan. So I'm actually looking for any comments that people might have. It's part of your agenda. if you've had an opportunity to read it.
I gotta pull mine off still.
And Barb, for comments, do you want comments emailed to you, or is that something we're going to be looking at in working groups?
Well, actually, if you could email your comments. The unfortunate part is that, like, I mean, we can review it during a working group session as well. And I can garner your feedback. At this particular meeting, I do actually need a recommendation to, move it forward to a council report because of the fact of the timing. It does have to go to council on March the 9th, which means that it has to be available by mid-February to the CAO for his approval before it can be put on the council agenda for March 9th. So what we could do is approve as amended, perhaps, after meetings with the working groups. Does that sound reasonable?
Yes.
Yes.
So, oh, Councillor Emsley.
Did you want a motion to that effect?
If we could, please. That way I can move it to a council report after meeting with the working groups. I will do that. I'll meet with the working groups and garner the information that's necessary. And so if
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll give you that motion.
Okay.
Okay, and a seconder for that, Gigi, thank
I'll
you.
second it.
Okay, thank you. So that's what I'll do. I'll arrange meetings with the working groups within the next week or so, or week and a half, like depending on people's timetables. I'm currently also reviewing the accessibility master plan because I wish it to go the same. Now, I haven't presented it within your agenda today, but again, during those working group meetings, I'll be prepared to share that report or information with you so that we can talk about it as well. Because I'd like to take it to the same meeting. It's always good to present both at the same time, and we're talking that way. I can get the council's attention for a few minutes, on both reports.
Do we need to do all in favor for that motion that we just made? Just,
We should, yes. So Gigi seconded it.
Yeah.
So regarding the motion, accepting the work plan as amended after seen by the working groups, all in favor?
Yeah.
Perfect, thank you.
thanks.
And that's all I have to report on for this particular meeting. Thank you, Crystal, for the time. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Barb. So we'll go to 5.2, which is public awareness. Usually Elizabeth's here to speak to that. I think the only things I'd add would be that applications for the awards are open. We'll be ramping that up as we meet as a working group, and we are planning to go ahead with the awards despite what's happening with the pandemic. So if they're going to be virtual this year, it looks to be what it's going to be, and we are planning to go ahead with that. And then I think the only other thing is that the sessions with Jack Veach. So one happened from Canadian Mental Health Association. So one did happen on January 15th, Barb. And then I think there's one upcoming in February. Is that correct?
You are absolutely correct. So,
Okay.
We did not have strong participation at the last one. And in fact, we postponed it. We only had one person come in on that one, which is unfortunate because I'm wondering if we captured many in the first two sessions. So I'm going to talk to Jack about it.
Okay.
But we will go ahead with the February session. I was just looking for the date. I think it's the mid-February somewhere. Just one sec here. I'll double check that. My apologies. It's February the 12th. that there will be a stress management piece delivered by Jack of Canadian Mental Health. And everyone at the table here is welcome to join, and invite others if there's a colleague of yours that you work with, or a friend that you feel could benefit from it, please let them know. It is an open session. So okay, thanks.
Okay. So just one more piece about that. So if we want to go, or if we have friends or other people who could benefit, do we register for that or just contact you?
There's no registration necessary. What you do
Okay.
have to share with them is the Zoom link.
Okay.
So you may or may not have that. So again, I will make a note for myself to circulate that link to you.
Perfect. That would be great.
Okay, and that way, if you did wish to share, you could. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks. So that's it for public awareness today. Public spaces, Norm.
I've got absolutely nothing. I've had no contact. The only thing I'd like to bring up at this point is I saw a notice yesterday that they temporarily moved the transit hub to the corner of Victoria and Russell. Now, my question is there any kind of shelter, temporary shelter, being erected in that location for the riders?
Do you know the answer to that, Councillor Elmsley? I don't.
I saw the notice that it had been temporarily moved. I don't know how long for. And I would say if it's only going to be a week or so, probably not. If it's going to be longer, then I think we should probably ask the question. And I'm wondering, Barb, if you can send an email off to Todd Bryant and see if he can give us an answer, please.
I can do that, no problem.
And then maybe just send out an email and let us know if what the answer is.
Okay, will do. Yeah, no problem.
Okay, thank you for that. That's all I have at this point in time because I've been out of the loop for a while and not had much contact.
And I know Andre's been, he has provided feedback on another site plan, and we have, I will need to, like I said, meet with the working group, the public spaces working group. And I do think there's a need to bring people all together as far as the audit tool goes, as far as a number of other things goes. So we'll have a conversation in a week or so, or probably within a week if I can make arrangements. Thank you. Thanks, Crystal, for letting me speak there.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, thank you. So that goes through all our reports. So if we could have a motion to accept the reports under 5.1, 2, 3, and 4. Thank you, Sharon. A seconder by Norm. Thank you, and all in favor. Perfect. So moving right along, new or other business. We didn't have anything added to the agenda. Our next meeting, again, will be by Zoom, will be the 4th Wednesday in February. 3rd Wednesday, right?
4th, I believe.
Okay, so if it's a 4th, that'll be February the 24th for our next meeting. And I think that's it. So we'll be contacted by Barb for working groups to meet there. It was nice to see everybody, and that's all we have for today. So short and sweet, so we can actually have a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Linda, we already got a couple seconders, Sharon, Gigi, and all in favor. Excellent.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Yes, Happy New Year. It was lovely to see everybody and looking forward to seeing you again